Joining us now from the White House is the President's press secretary, Robert Gibbs. Mr. Gibbs, good morning.
Good morning, Harry.
Before we get to Detroit and jobs, I want to ask you very quickly about Charles Rangel. This bipartisan committee is bringing charges against Rangel. They cite a pattern of indifference and disregard for the law. If this trial happens, it'll happen in September, right in the midst of the congressional elections. Should Charles Rangel quit?
Well, look, Harry, I think, as you mentioned, there's a bipartisan committee looking into some very serious charges. We think that's certainly the right thing to do. I don't want to prejudge the outcome of that. I think Democrats going into this midterm election have an agenda to offer the American people about moving our country forward. That's what we're going to spend our time talking about this fall.
All right. So today you go to Detroit and you're going to visit a GM plant. You'll visit a Chrysler plant. People will be stunned to know that both of those companies are turning a profit. They're hiring new workers. Does it surprise even you?
Look, I think there's no doubt that the team that worked on auto restructuring here at the White House is surprised at where GM and Chrysler are. As you mentioned, the big three all reported a profit for the first time since 2004, and these companies are hiring again. The auto industry is hiring again for the first time since 1999. There's no doubt it is a success story. We've got a ways to go, but there's no doubt that the investments that had to be made in the auto industry, the sacrifices and the restructuring that have been made, have put the auto industry on a much better path towards sustainability, and one that's creating jobs again.
There are those who would still argue that the bailout never should have happened, that the company should have imploded, declared bankruptcy, gone the way of whatever the marketplace would have dictated it be restructured as.
Well, and Harry, it's a simple thing to say, but the question is, how do you then deal with the million people that would have been unemployed? How do you deal with the communities, many of which have been built around these auto manufacturing plants that wouldn't have other businesses coming in to replace those jobs? This president said it was just too risky to walk away from 1 million jobs, most of them in the Midwest, and instead, let's provide an investment to them, but then let's ask them to do some tough things. Let's ask them to restructure. Let's ask them to make sacrifices. I think the fruits of that are being borne out. You see, as I said, companies that are profitable, companies that are adding jobs, and an environment in which there is strong consumer demand for the products that they're making.
Let us jump very quickly, if you don't mind. July is ending as the most deadly month in Afghanistan since the war began, especially for U.S. troops we're talking about. There's a new report about suicides that the Army has just received, and the commanding general who has been overseeing this has basically said he's wondering out loud if we're just sending our troops to these places like Iraq and Afghanistan too many times, and it's resulting in parts in this suicide rate. Are we asking too much of these soldiers?
Well, Harry, look, if you look at a place like Afghanistan, we've been there for almost 10 years. Obviously, our hearts go out to those that have been lost this month and over the past 10 years in both Iraq and Afghanistan defending our freedom. I think we have to do a better job. The president believes a better job in making decisions about where and when we send those troops, but most of all, taking care of them when they come home, giving them the services that they've earned and deserve to make sure that they come back and they have the support that we all believe they should have.
Robert Gibbs, we thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
Harry, thank you.